Welcome back to your Community Connection Corner here on your Catholic station, Real Life Radio 1380, 94.9 FM. I'm Jennifer Longworth, joined today by Callie Edwards and Susan Timmerman from the American Red Cross. And we talked a lot about who the Red Cross really is in the first segment, and I learned a lot. I'm going, oh, well, I didn't know you guys did that. It's a lot more than just what blood and flood you called it. Mm-hmm. And so how do people get involved? You know, people go, oh, there's a disaster. I want to get involved and help, and here are clothes and food and everything. But that's not always the best way for someone to get involved.
Yes. A lot of times people will see things on the news like a disaster event, and they'll feel compelled to help and support. And we truly value the generosity of our donors and our volunteers. Our core mission is to alleviate human suffering in the face of disasters. And so how we do that is we work with our volunteers and our donors to make that happen. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about our donors. The Red Cross is not a government organization. We don't receive any government funding. We are all based on the generosity of the public in order to provide the services that we do. Our organization is one Red Cross, and so if there is a disaster in one of our counties in Kentucky, it doesn't matter how much that county can fundraise for their disaster. If they need, $1 million to handle the disaster in that area, the Red Cross is going to provide what is needed and work with our community partners to make sure that community is made whole again. That's our goal. And so by one Red Cross, it's great because everyone that we work with is treated equally, has the same access to services, and with the same, care and attention to detail. And that's really a pride of what we do. For donations, really for the Red Cross, and in most disasters, which people are often finding out now, is that financial donations are really the best possible means to support a disaster response. Mm-hmm. It's much easier for us to move finances quickly into that local area and use the local vendors and community partners, because not only are those people and citizens suffering in that area, the businesses and partners are as well. And so when we're able to use local funds and help that community support itself, it really helps us provide and move quickly.
And helps them to rebuild.
It helps them to rebuild their community. One of the things that we really focus on is how do you get the mind of the individual moving forward as quickly as possible? Yeah. People don't like to, have things done for them. They want to be able to take care of themselves and make their decisions and be autonomous. And we want to help them do that. Donations, the financial donations, help us immensely. I know that sometimes there's a need where they're saying, in-kind donations of clothes, those things. Sometimes it's really hard for local organizations to have the manpower to be able to sort, to clean, to distribute those things. And so we always look to people to make sure if you donate those in-kind items that organization can handle it and is prepared to do the distribution of it. But it's tough, and sometimes communities can be inundated with in-kind donations, and it's just not the right time for that. Right. They're not ready for it, and so you have to really listen to the community itself and what their needs are. Secondly, what I want to talk about is volunteers, which is really the heart and soul of what we do. Once you become a Red Cross volunteer, it's really an addiction. And so the cult of the Red Cross. Because really what we do, we focus on disaster volunteers a lot in our local region, as well as our Service to the Armed Forces volunteers. But disaster volunteers are really important here in our community for many reasons. We look for people that are interested and willing to help respond to single-family fires. A person that's just lost everything, in their home, the Red Cross volunteer that's there to say, I am here to help you. What do you need? And so volunteers that can enjoy that person-to-person contact is really a rewarding endeavor. We provide the tools, the training, the resources to do that. We just need people that are interested in helping us out. We're also looking for volunteers that are interested in being trained to be a shelter volunteer or a feeding volunteer. We have lots of churches, organizations that are set up as shelters in advance, where if we had to open a shelter, we'd contact that church or organization and see if they're available to open a shelter. We love having volunteers from those locations that have already been trained as a Red Cross volunteer to help us out. We provide a lot of training, and it's not really a hindrance to people getting involved. It's really more about knowing what skills you're going to need to handle that disaster situation. And so we can also be consistent with our clients and be, quick, efficient, and also respectful of the donor dollar and how we serve. A lot of times when a disaster happens, people want to help. And they might be able to help in certain ways, like distribute bottled water or those types of things. But if you really want to have the face-to-face client time with the people we're working with, the training is really important and essential. And we always advise people to do that in advance, and we can help you do that. I'm going to turn it over to Susan to talk about our role with volunteers in the Service to the Armed Forces program and with our veterans.
Thank you so much. Service to the Armed Forces is not only the emergency messaging. That's a very important part. The advantage with that one for a volunteer is I sit at home and do cases.
Oh, very
I
good.
can have my morning
like
cup of
that.
coffee and check my cases, call the client. It's not a problem. It's not going out to the scene of the fire. So a little different that way.
Yeah.
I think many people would volunteer more if they realized it's not an 8 to 4 job. It is at your convenience. It is using your talents, and you have the ability to say, I'm sorry, I can't do that right now. And we will call you back. We will not ignore you. It is not a one chance thing. We call and ask. If we don't ask, the answer is no.
Right.
So with Service to the Armed Forces, the other thing we do is work with the Reserve and National Guard troops that have been activated. We usually are invited to their pre-deployment briefings. Sometimes we are invited to activities that happen for the family members mid-deployment and then post-deployment. We will be briefing a local unit up in Cynthiana in a couple of weeks. And that involves just a resource table where we're a happy, smiling face and welcome back. We're so glad you're here, telling the families, this is wonderful. Providing information for them on how to start getting back into the civilian community. It is not going to be going back to normal.
Right.
It is a new normal for them.
Right.
Making sure they have the information to receive the medical care they need from the VA. There are many other people who come, Military One Source, representatives from the VA, that are there to help the service people. With the VA, having mentioned the VA, I love the VA. It keeps my husband and I married because when he retired, I said, honey, you need something to keep you busy. How about being a Red Cross volunteer? I know of a position out at the VA.
Oh.
So he is never at the he's hardly ever at the chapter. I mean, they know his face, but he doesn't go like I do.
Uh-huh.
He goes to the VA, and he volunteers with the Voluntary Services Office Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings for about 3 hours. And then he takes a lunch break, and he goes to the Compensated Work Therapy program, which involves working with computers.
Oh,
He's a computer geek.
very good.
So he helps veterans who are returning to perhaps getting off of the street. Maybe they've been through drug rehabilitation or alcohol rehabilitation, and they are rebuilding their lives. Volunteers of America have an entire floor at the VA in Leestown that gives these folks a home. It gives them an address, a phone, and enables them to start rebuilding their lives.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to really, very few people. There might be a few that want to live on the street.
Right.
So working with these folks, he is able to help them compose a resume. Many people are not used to, I was in the military, but I don't ever put that on a resume. Well, why not? Yeah. What did you do in the military? Well, I had this job and I did this, and it's very military. My husband helps translate it to civilian terms.
Very good.
Yeah, helps go on the internet and find jobs. Many of the folks end up working for the VA. Wonderful opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, VA volunteer positions, they really can't run without volunteers. Neither can Red Cross. I know for Red Cross, it's approximately one staff member balanced out by 17 volunteers. And volunteers work averages out to about $20 an hour. That is a financial donation right there. A lot of people do not value their own work. I encourage people to contact us. We're happy to describe the many different ways to get involved. The training is fairly simple. A lot of training across the board is online now, and then we do the face-to-face. At the VA, you can do something as simple as help with gardening. We have a volunteer who goes out and beautiful gardening. She also visits on the floor of the long-term care community living. We have single opportunities. Recently had a group from the Lexington School provide a wonderful food event at the last UK basketball game. We happened to lose, but you know, we had a good time. Many different things. The best thing is your hours count for the VA, and they also count for Red Cross volunteer hours. And for youth, there are youth scholarships available through the VA and also through Red Cross. We are welcoming people anytime, and we really encourage them to call.
And what's the number?
It is 859-253-1331. And ask for Kelly. Don't ask for me because I'm not always at the chapter, but she has my cell phone number and we'll give it out freely.
Great way to explain what our volunteers do, Susan. It's really amazing how much happens with the volunteers that we have in our 55 counties. I just wanted to close with our information about the Red Cross is always available at www.redcross.org. You can fill out a volunteer application online, or you can also donate to the Red Cross. Over 91 cents of every dollar goes to humanitarian services. We have a very low administrative cost to our organization based on our volunteers. And so if you're interested in learning more, call our chapter. We're happy to talk with you and learn about opportunities. We also have opportunities for youth with our Red Cross clubs too. So really, it's unlimited.
And what's the phone number again?
859-253-1331.
And we're on Newtown Pike, right next to Happy Dragon Restaurant.
There you go. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, redcross.org, and we look forward to hearing more.
Great. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. This has been your Community Connection Corner here on your Catholic station, Real Life Radio 1380 and 94.9 FM, WMJR, Nicholasville, Lexington.